this.
I'm ready.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Homebrew. 1 second, I need to change up my audio real quick. There we go. I don't want to listen to myself, do I? Hey, so we are starting in, and thank you for joining us for our debut campaign. It is a duet with me and Sarah running through the origin story to her character, Emery, which she'll be playing in the next campaign, the party campaign called Call of the Hunger. So, we start off here in the Gnarlwood, a place that is home to the Nintanga tribe. And I'll go ahead and just pull you over there. So this is the map of the old world. Your character, just give it a second, it's got a buffer in here.
Okay, it's struggling right now with the music.
The music's making it not necessarily so fun for the computer.
Yeah.
You know what, we can go ahead and just drop that and see what happens.
Okay.
You might need to refresh.
There it is.
There you go. Okay. We start off with Emery, a character who calls the Gnarlwood home to the Nintanga tribe of the Woolund. The Woolund, for those who are not familiar with this world of dwelling, are a race very similar to Wood Elves, but also it's a bigger umbrella incorporating all of the woodland folk that you would expect from the kind of iconic woodland realms, being your minotaurs and your satyrs, anyone who would have been considered to be slightly animalian, but having devolved from some sort of human. So in this case, the Woolund are a group that have started to gain certain attributes like horns, because they tend to evolve over time as they age to represent those that they surround themselves with, especially the animal folk that they protect. Now, if we are loaded back in here, I'm going to just go ahead and start up that music once more here. So, your character being from the Gnarlwood, you would know that the Gnarlwood is not your classic forest. While it is a very, very dense place full of woods and the classic animal creatures, the Gnarlwood has a very unique feature, and that is that being so far up to the north, it sees a lot of creatures coming from the Winterlands, which is usually shrouded in night and tends to be home to a lot of nightkin, right? So creatures with some sort of affiliation with the profane. A long time ago, a great surge of undead came down from the Winterlands, and what was strange is that they weren't entirely hostile, but when they moved down into the old world, places like Bronton, which is the city up close to the Winterlands as well, were obviously very hostile towards them because of classic, what's the word I'm looking for, folk tales and suspicions of them, right? And of course, too, a lot of the Nightkin ascribed to their tropes of dark, profane dealings and being downright hostile. And so something that came of this is that a lot of them ended up coming towards the Scab and the Gnarlwood because they were not met very well in Arlinger, Bronton, and that area of the world. And as they passed down through the Gnarlwood, they found safe haven in Holdenford, a city that had been open-minded for a long time, being a place that had traded with creatures like the Woolund, but also trading frequently with the dwarves of Excavandrin and the onyx of the mountains as well. And so what happened was that the Gnarlwood became occupied with a lot of dark creatures, and the Woolund, your people, the Tonga tribe, had to find a way to accommodate them because resisting them or shunning them completely wasn't necessarily an option. And your people had found a semblance of balance in allowing creatures of the night to find safe harbor in the Gnarlwood, with the trade that they could not prey on creatures in the Gnarlwood, but would however have free game for anything else that crossed into their borders. And so your people really acted as a bastion. One, the primary objective was to take care of the creatures of the area, but two was to kind of be peace holders in this land and try to make sure that those the tense relationships between the restless, as they were coming to know, the undead, and the outskirts of the wood and the creatures in the wood themselves found balance, and that there were no invasive species, so to speak. And so that is what your people, for the most part, did. Our story, however, does not take place immediately in the Gnarlwood. You see, as one of the main stocks of the people of the Woolund, one of the main occupations, was actually to go out and to engage in trade with both Holdenford and Broughton and surrounding small villages. And that was something that you found yourself being partially responsible for. And you found your way toward Broughton. Why Broughton? Well, Broughton is a place known for trading of, or known for having the first domesticated wolves or dogs. Little known secret, though, is that wasn't necessarily their doing. It was through trade with the Woolund. And so your job, Emery, was to bring one of the most recent crops of puppies, litters, after having reached a mature age that instruction could be given, that you were to bring them to Broughton for trade.
Okay.
Now, that being said, unfortunately...
cute little puppies.
Unfortunately...
cute little harmless puppies.
Unfortunately, the last batch of puppies, the rearing didn't go very well. The puppies themselves were hyper-aggressive, and it was especially noted in the fathers of the puppies. In fact, the fathers had actually eaten a few of the much better faring puppies because they were hyper-territorial or aggressive in competition. And some of the puppies would aggressively go and...
Wait, sorry, could you repeat that?
The puppies and the wolves in general were quite competitive with each other. And unfortunately, this led to some of them dying. It also led it to be very hard to tame them. And in fact, a few of the Nintanga were actually attacked by the wolves that they attempted to domesticate. And so it was really important for you to be able to bring this litter to auction, so to speak, in the town of Broughton. And so you made the 10-day trip out that way. And in doing so, you had to cross through the Scab, which the Scab is another patch of forest just across the Fulcrum Stream, which to kind of gather in size as far as some of the stuff on the world map, which I'll bring you back to here. The primary rivers that are on the map and the cities that are on the map are really big. The Fulcrum Stream and the White Flow River, which are two of the main ones that you can see here, are probably the width of the Mississippi. Okay. So you actually it takes some time to go from shore to shore.
Okay, that makes sense.
So luckily, your people make this trip very frequently, and they have ferries designed to make the trip through this area. It's usually a very primitive form, but your people are naturally in tune with the forest and with the goings of Azralam, also known as the weather, so to speak. Azralam is known as one of the gods of weather, him and Bojadar. And so being able to sense and time it, you guys are able to cross with these puppies fine.
So the Fulcrum stream is the one that heads up into the Gnarlwood, right?
Correct.
So we're coming, we came through the Gnarlwood, across the Fulcrum stream.
Directly horizontal to the scab, yep.
And then, to the scab area.
Yep.
Okay.
And you came alone with the puppies.
Just me?
Just you, yep. And you brought the puppies all the way.
Wait, just me with a pack of murderous puppies?
Just you with a pack of... Well, they're competing amongst each other. They're not, absolutely murderous. These are the good ones. These are the ones that were left over, so to speak, right?
So they're the most murderous ones, is what you're saying.
Right.
The ones that are left alive.
Yeah. And so you managed to get the puppies to Bronton. And Bronton is it's a major city, but it's not like most cities out there that you would come across. It is in the middle of fields. It is so far north that it is windswept and frigid in most of the times, and it is predominantly a place that families gather for house meetings, so to speak. Think of it like this area being mainly giant commune farms that all join together in Bronton for celebrations. And Bronton's kind of slogan, if they were to have one, would be "Work hard, play hard." They really put it together, and they come to each other's aid when there's something bad happening, and then once they get all the hard tilling of the area done, they go back and they gather up and they party. They've got a lot of rituals. In fact, as you show up into town, they're in the middle of the festival of Ranvalar's Rest. Ranvalar being the god of teamwork, labor, and humility. And it had just been, you guys had just been through, the people of this town had just been through a recent crop gathering cycle and were ready to party. They also deal a lot with, they actually have frequent herds of mammoth in this area, and so that's one of the things that they use the wolves for, is to help nip them and herd them, and they use them as herding dogs. So bringing them into town, you trade with the locals, and you do manage to sell them all off. But I would like you to give me a negotiation check just to see how much money you make as you sell these pups to the people of Bronton.
But I've been with these guys 10 days now, and it's just me.
I've already named
I named them
all.
all. Okay, Charlie and Spittle and Marvin, and I don't know if I can bear to let them go. But let's see. One success.
Oh man, okay. You sell the lot for 1 gold.
Hey.
Which
is that I think that's undervalue. I'm kind of like, oh, I could keep them.
Right? Unfortunately, in the times that they were at, these particular puppies were still aggressive, and they're like, I don't know, man, right? A lot of people were still drunk and partying, so it's one of those things where you didn't have a lot of luck. That being said, you do have 1 gold in your pocket. Would you like to make your way around town and buy anything before trying to head back home?
Well, first my question is, did I find them good homes?
Did you find them good homes?
Yes.
Well, that's the thing, is that these are all wholesome families, the Bronton area, right? They are superstitious, the whole lot. And so you're not necessarily met with you're still met with that, foreign person in a small town vibe, right? Mm-hmm. You're not one of them. Right? You're still an outsider trading here. And so there's still squints, but people are in light spirits, so they tolerate you, and you provide a very important staple to their economy.
Okay. I would like to buy something if that is a-okay, Captain.
Yep, I have the Genesis gear already pulled up.
I don't have any health potions right now, and that seems prudent. So
Absolutely.
I would like to shop around, see if I can find any of those baddies.
Yep, and I'm not going to make you do a streetwise check for it. Around here, that'd be 25 silver, and with you only having a gold, I'm not worried about there being 10 or 15 health potions.
Yeah, so if I get 2, it's 50 silver, which is like
half a gold. So you can
half a gold, right?
Yeah, convert your gold to 50 silver left.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought for sure you had health potions already squirreled away.
I didn't have enough money.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So.
Yeah, you got a bunch of other stuff there, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it, because I got my survivor's toolkit, which had lots of oddball stuff in it.
Okay. So looking at your sheet here, your presence is 2. And
you know what
you're
I did?
not particular. You have 1 in charm, so you're not like the most outgoing person with these people, so to speak, right?
I mean, I would say that I'm friendly, but in like too polite, too like way that's like I'm not gonna make any waves,
So the hard-headed farmers just walk all over you when it comes to the market, right?
Excuse me, sir. Well, okay, another day. That's fine.
Up in this area, twillets are a bit shorter than they are in most of the other areas, right? So you're probably looking at like a 15-day cycle between twillets rather than a 20-day cycle, just in the sense that it gets darker quicker, so to speak, right? Actually, hold on. That's not... I always forget if twillets are more common the further up, or more common closer to the quote-unquote equator.
It's darker.
You know what? We'll pass it over. It's definitely darker, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you spend a couple days in Bronton. And that's how long it takes to be able to find homes for each of the puppies and whatnot. But 2-3 days in.
It's tough leaving these guys after getting to know them on the way, but okay.
Yeah. And as you go to head out of town, it's probably, it's a shorter day. You probably got 5 hours of light before it's going to get too much, darker, right? Mm-hmm. So 1 o'clock on a winter day, right? Something like that. As you were heading out of town, you passed by a couple of folks that you'd sold one of the pups to before. They'd claimed that they could get it. They were traders. One of them, named Donald Lancaster, was part of a caravan headed towards Waikiki, and they thought that they could turn a good profit off of the pup, bringing it all the way over there. And as you keep moving, you hear a carriage that's been rolling into the streets, and you hear kind of like a and you hear a couple of kids a little bit later start crying. And looking over,
I kind of check it out.
walking down thank you. As you look down one of the main thoroughfares, and this is a dirt path, but it's a wide road. Think like classic western town or whatever, like Cowboys style, whatever. So still dirt roads, right?
Yeah.
You see one of the pups, and it is so it's probably about a 45-pound dog right now, and you see it whimpering spittle. And he's got one of his arms up, and you see that he's kind of pushing himself along on one leg. About
I gotta run right over.
Yards away. And you see...
Did you get hit by a cart or something?
You see the 2 crying kids, right? Over there with the dog, and you remember selling spittle to them.
Okay.
And you see, as you rush forward, you see the mother that was with these kids when it was originally purchased is not necessarily anywhere in sight.
What happened? Is he okay?
The car, he didn't even stop old Jenkins. I don't know what to do with it. You hear him like, oh. And
no.
Looking down, you see his arm is, his paw, kind of just above the elbow, is facing the wrong direction, and it looks like maybe like a spoke, like a dirty nail off of one of the spokes had caught part of his shoulder blade and carved a piece of it free.
Oh no. Can I try to help him? Can I try to fix him?
You certainly can. You can give me a medicine check. Do you have a med kit?
I don't have a med kit. Sorry, I have like a survivor's toolkit, but not like a med kit.
Okay, so it's not going to give you any bonuses, but it's certainly going to make it possible, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give you any negatives or anything like that, but it will be an easy check, as any medicine check would normally be.
Okay. Medicine is based on intellect, so that's good. Try 4 success and 1 advantage.
Okay. So you go to look at the dog's arm, and the bone is clearly out of place, right? It's snapped, and because of the way the tendons work, after it's snapped, the tendons, which are under tension, pulled the bone out of place, and it's not bleeding as much as you would expect, but it is still bleeding. I assume you try to take it and you try to pull it back to where it should be, in an attempt to brace it. And as you do, it doesn't seem to want to move, which is weird because the bone's clearly broken. And as you're looking at it, you hear behind you like a thumping of feet, almost like someone's walking towards you to help with the situation. And you hear from behind.
Like, okay. I guess I'll turn and look quickly as I'm kind of, because I'm like almost like worried that something more is gonna hurt this pup.
Right. Approaching you from behind, you see a cloaked figure, and from underneath a hood, which you can see is like, it's one of those cloaks that's like pulled around him, pulled around them, and it's got a brooch, and it's pulled up. The hood is pulled up over their face, but below that you can see like 4 different mandibles moving in some sort of concert with each other. And you see underneath the cloak, he kind of like Igor's near you, right? Like at a kind of diagonal angle, and he kind of like reaches out with one hand, and you can see he's got 2 fingers on one hand with a thumb, so to speak, but they're all sharp like talons, so to speak, and they're covered in chitin.
Okay.
But he's approached now to the point of being able to like breathe down your neck. Okay.
Hello. I'm a bit busy at the moment, and I'm still trying to like help the pup.
Okay. He kind of leans over and goes, "I can help."
Can I do a check on him just real quick? On like,
what kind of check are you looking to?
just like good intentions or not?
Okay, so you're gonna try to like understand his demeanor.
Yeah.
To see if he's
being genuine.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead. Let's see here. So B versus his cool, pretty much.
Alright. So is that
This would be
that's
an
interpretation,
investigation.
right?
Yep, because it's interpretation. Yeah.
Okay. 2, 4.
Okay. Looking at him, and you can see that he's kind of got like these many segmented eyes that kind of turn and pivot. But one thing that you do see that is like, are those tears brimming underneath of his giant bug-like eyes, right? And so you feel like maybe this would be fine, right?
I hope it would be appreciated. I can't quite get this set right. I'm not exactly a healer of any sort. I just like know how things work sometimes, I guess.
He kind of looks down, and at this point the kids kind of look up and go, and as you hold the dog, so he kind of looks back at the dog, and he goes towards it, and the kids start going, ah! And you hear, hey, what's going on out here? From the building just adjacent, which at this point you can probably tell is a tavern, right? And the door opens up, and a gruffer man comes out, and he goes, Lily, what are you doing? And the little girl gets up, and one of them runs towards their father, as the bug-like person who now is kind of crouched over you, kind of gestures towards the dog, and you can see as he gestures that part of his hand starts to like flake away a little bit, and it kind of dematerializes into almost like a powder towards the dog. And you hear him, this won't hurt, little guy. And he's gesturing towards the dog, and then you see the dog kind of like it's kind of panting, right? And the other little girl is like, as long as Spittle's gonna be okay. And then you hear, as the dog seems to just go off, right?
No.
And you see him you see the bug person kind of back up a little bit, and another person comes around and looks up, and you see the girl starts crying. Now that the dog starts yelping, so the dog's yelping, the girl's crying.
Okay, I'm trying to
another girl
soothe
and
the
go,
dog.
You hear the dad go, "What are you two doing near my daughter? Linnea, get back here! Get over here now!" And do you do anything?
Someone hit the dog. We're just trying to help.
And as you kind of, it's hard to hear you over just the sheer yelping of the dog, right? And as that's going on, you hear another person. You hear some people start whispering as like a couple more people start showing up, and give me. What would this be? Let me take a look at your sheet quick as far as checks go. Give me a vigilance check. As you hear people slowly start to mutter, like one of them goes, you hear the name Lady Marrow muttered by someone in the crowd.
1-1.
1 and 1. Okay. You can feel that there's a tension growing in the air, and the other little girl hasn't moved yet, and one of them looks over and goes, "She's got devil horns!" from the crowd.
Not devil. It's not relevant. They're just regular horns.
You see the bug person kind of look down and goes, we should go.
But he's still hurting.
He goes, I don't know. It works. It does. And you hear the dog, and his tongue flopping out.
I wasn't able to help him either, and I thought I could fix it. So I kind of, I'm gonna try one more time to, set, or, wrap or set.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I just feel bad. It's hurting.
Right?
Alright, okay, so that's 1 success, 4 advantage.
You go to address the dog's wound, right? Mm-hmm. And as you do, an inordinate amount of blood sprays out of the dog on you. And you hear it go, and goes limp.
No. No, no, no.
And you hear, they killed that dog.
No.
They're gonna take that girl. And you hear.
Can I look up, like, something's off, right? Like, so, like, can I look at who said that, or, like, try to figure out?
Yeah.
Because that was more than what should have happened, right? Like,
yep.
Seems.
Yeah. So you're gonna try to look around, and what are you looking for specifically?
I'm looking for somebody who's trying to have caused this. You know, like somebody might be like magicking this or something.
Okay.
Like trying to make it look like
sure.
we're doing anything wrong, because that bug guy seemed like he was genuine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. People are starting to crowd in.
3 and 1.
Okay. So, looking across at the crowd, you see genuine concern, but you also see drunkenness. And drunkenness and fervor don't go very well together.
Right.
But you also see actually, did you say you have any advantage?
3 and 1.
3 and 1. Okay. One thing that you notice actually, I'm going to hold on to the advantage. So that's the one thing you notice. This is a crowd turning dangerous, regardless of what's going on and who's doing what. That's something that you notice out the gates.
Do I see that cart that they said? Sorry, if I don't have time to look around, that's fine. But
give me a perception check as you search around. But at this point, people are moving in towards you. Are you going to stay
I'm
where you are?
standing up. I'm like starting to back away, and I'm looking for where the cart that would have hit this thing would have gone on the street. Like if I could see that it stopped, or if there's nothing in sight. I got a 1 and 1.
You do see in the distance, behind many people, maybe 7 or 8 buildings down, you do see a cart that is still in the road. There are a couple other carts there's one other cart that's pulled off near one of the buildings as if they were getting ready to unload. But it's more of a carriage that's further down the road. At this point, because you're getting ready to head out of town, and I mentioned Donald Lancaster's caravan. This is still something where you're still kind of on the periphery of town, and that cart is heading into town. It's a really, really big town. You hear the bug person get up. He's pulling on you now at this point. He goes, "No, we go."
Yeah.
So he starts pulling on you, and you hear,
I just don't understand.
"No, they're running!" And you see the dad run over and try to grab his daughter, right? And you hear him go, "Danny, get your pitchfork, Danny!" And as that's happening, you couldn't help but notice as he's turned to start to back away, the dog, which was predominantly what's that tabby color for cats, right? It's predominantly tabby in color. I'm not sure if that's a thing that you can use just for any animal. It's orange, right?
It's sure, yeah.
It was missing the white tip tail that when you were bonding over these dogs on your way out, that you noticed before.
So the tail, okay. Do you mean the tip of the tail is missing, or it just looks like it's missing? There's no white.
There was no white on the tip of its tail.
Just to be clear. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like a different, potentially, dog then.
A rock is thrown and it hits hits the bug person nearby.
Oh, we've got to move faster. I'm sorry. And
No, it's no. And you see him looking back, and he kind of looks around, and he's not sure where to go at this point.
Okay, what does it look like?
So you're getting onto the outskirts of town. You see there's some open field nearby, and luckily it's getting darker, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's probably 4 hours of daylight left, but at this point, most of the crowd that's being drawn is from further into town. There's a couple alleys that are still kind of dead ending in this area, so you could peel off into one of those. There's maybe like 2 alleys between here and the edge of town, and the edge of town is not walled or anything like that. It just kind of stops. It's like wherever they stop making buildings is kind of the edge of town. There's some like smaller pickets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the people you hear, well, that doesn't make sense. And another person goes, "Nah, it's Lady Mara, come to steal our children."
Do I know who Lady Morrow is?
Give me a knowledge people check.
Okay. Okay, that's 2 success, 4 advantage.
Okay. Lady Marrow is a mixture of Peter Pan and the old like fae stories about like gifting children, like leaving a child in the woods, so to speak. It's usually associated with taking the kids and eating the kids from undeserving parents, or taking the kids and giving them away to other families. But it always is usually associated with some gremlin type creature from the woods.
Well, you know, that's quite rude. I mean, I've been trading back and forth with these people. Don't they know who I am? We haven't meant any harm.
What are you doing while you're saying this? Are you talking to the crowd? Are you running? Are you walking?
I say it like loud enough that, but I'm like, so I'm talking kind of at them and at the guy next to me, you know?
Okay.
And I kind of stopped.
He, at this point, seeing you stop, he looks back, and goes, what does he say? Our kind is less. Politeness is not meant for us, our kind. And one of them runs over, one of the locals, Danny, who ran over to grab his pitchfork, starts stalking forward, and as he's doing that, someone else runs over and grabs the Teketnu. And when they do, he kind of, out of fear, kind of, "Bah!" and like turns, and as he does, the brooch on his cloak breaks, and as that breaks, he kind of like stumbles backwards, and everyone goes, and you hear, "Monster! Monster!" Which, to be fair, what this guy is even something that you're not terribly familiar with. You give me knowledge, people.
Oops. 5 and 2.
Holy crap. Okay, so
I recognize that.
this is a Teketnu. A Teketnu is, for the audience, a bug person. They are not very common in civilized society amongst the sapient. But for the Walund, they are not necessarily brethren, but they are kindred spirits in the sense that familiar to being outcasts. Typically, the Wooland look down on them in the sense that, like, oh, you poor things, right? Because you're creepy looking, right? They are also known for basically turning over life, right? So helping preserve things, causing things to help pass on into the next cycle of its lifespan, so to speak. Very common to be around some cities. They find themselves pulled there to help decompose things, but whenever they are around, these things are super feared in civilized society, especially in Broughton. And you see that the crowd goes from, like, what's going on? There's some nonsense in the streets, to, hey, like, drunken claims of, oh, hey, they must be this nonsense thing, right? Mm-hmm. To, oh, no, this is what we fear it to be, right? This is a boogeyman of sorts.
Let him go. He's done nothing wrong. And I go over there and try to help him.
Okay, so his cloak broke, and they kind of staggered back, right? And so he turns to flee, and he's getting chased now by Danny. Denny, the guy with the pitchfork.
Okay.
Are you?
I'm running with him.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to, like, I guess, depends where I end up. But I was gonna see if I could try to, like, either outpace if it seems like he's, yeah.
Okay.
Just tell me what's going on. I'll tell you.
Yeah. So the bug person, it turns now to, like, run straight out of town. You can follow in, like, adjacency, or you can follow in, like, in parallel. So, like, leaving, like, this, so to speak, or you can try to, like, marry up with him. But the person, Denny, is probably 20 feet behind.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep pace with the Tikeknu.
Give me an athletics check.
This word I can say. Alright, 1, 2.
Okay. This is a bit exhausting for you. Trying to keep up, you stumble and trip, and as that happens, the crowd starts to, because you're closer, some of their ires turn towards you, and you feel a cabbage hit you in the side of the head as you've fallen down. Take 2 strain.
Ow. My emotional damage.
As you look up, you see Denny throw his pitchfork at the.
Of course, it's Denny.
At the Tikeknu as he's running away, right?
It's gonna tell us that we were speeding.
And you see it hit him in the side, and it just one prong seems to stick in, but it does that thing where, like, it sticks in and then falls straight down, and, like, you gotta, like, as he stumbles forward still, and, like, he goes to, like, pull it out as Denny still pursues him. He kind of pulls it out, and as he does, you see him kind of, like, fling it at the ground, and as he does that, the handle of the pitchfork seems to come alive like a snake and wraps itself around Denny's leg as Denny chases him, and Denny trips and falls as the Tikeknu tries to continue to hobble away. Are you going to continue to... What are you doing?
I'm going to try to help the Tikeknu hold him up and try to get him out.
So now Denny's between the two of you as you stumbled over when you got hit by the cabbage.
Yep, I'm
going to try to catch up?
Yep, I'm going to try to catch up to Tikeknu and keep running.
Would you like to suffer any strain?
Yeah.
How many strain would you like to suffer to exert yourself?
2.
2 strain. Okay. So effectively, you're dashing at this point to try to to catch up with him, which would symbolize, like, a breakneck run, right? So you managed to catch up to the bug person, and you get your arm underneath of him and start helping him move. And as you do, he kind of like looks over at you, and you see him like he's got like little two stubby wings on his back, like firefly wings that start to like zzz, sort of thing. But it's not enough to actually produce flight, but you can feel that it's helping push you guys forwards, so to speak.
Okay.
Oh,
that's cute.
You hear a couple people go. You hear someone say, "Get the horses!" As some of the people who are chasing you, including Denny, stop and think smarter rather than harder on this. And you have a chance to try to make as much distance as possible,
Okay.
or try to find some sort of way to get into covered ground, or whatever you're.
Are we in the fields at this point? Like, where's like the forest?
You've broken out of town, looking over toward the scab. It's probably night will fall before you get to the scab.
Okay.
It's still a good distance away, but before you get to the scab, there's still because the scab is actually quite a bit away. Looking around, give me a survival check or a perception check.
Yes, sir. Survival is probably best. That is 4 and 2.
4 success and 2. Okay. So, looking around immediately, your first thought is to head north.
Okay.
North and what direction am I thinking of? North and east, right? Because you have to get to the scab for sure. But if you can head in that direction, you can potentially lose them to some of the bramble that's up that direction, right? There's a field of mammoth that can help break your line of sight if you dip dodge and get over into that direction. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so give me, in order to try to use the time effectively that you have, I'm going to need you to give me an athletics check to see how far away you can make it. And are you going to try to do anything in particular? Like, what are your hopes?
I do want to kind of like be ducking in and out of like, try to, be in cover or...
You're going to try to break line of sight.
Break line of sight as we're going. And if I had the instinct that north was the direction to head, that's
so
the way I would
give me a stealth. Sorry, an athletics check first, and then let's do a stealth check. And you can add a boost to your roll because of your buddy.
Okay. That is still 3 advantage, no success.
Okay.
For the athletics check.
You guys are not going to be able to outrun these, outrun people on horses, right? You can make them distance, but you need to break line of sight. And there are some mammoth nearby that you can find cover on, but you might need more of a diversion than that, right? Because that's not enough to cause them to stop chasing you, and you would need... Like, if the mammoth aren't moving, then...
Can I look for something that I could use to, like, slow them down? Like a trap of some sort, or, like, things to dip dodge around? Like, that would be trickier for them than us.
Give me a skullduggery check.
Okay. Wait, skullduggery, yeah. It was cunning, actually. One more in that than I thought. Cool. Alright, great. 3 advantage.
Your boost die from your buddy. So just consider that he's permanently helping you.
5 advantage, no success.
Advantage. Okay. You aren't able to find any sort of trap.
How about the mammoths are just in their way?
But the mammoths, the mammoths, you realize that while they are big, lumbering creatures, it occurs to you they don't they're not particularly smart, right? And they're particularly defensive once you've riled them up, right?
I learned that in like Don't Starve Together, yeah.
Right? So there's a way that you could potentially get them to stampede, right? And cause a kerfuffle.
Okay.
They are also, for the most part, a lot of them are in a pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do all pins have? Or not pins, they're in a pasture, right?
Pasture. Mm-hmm.
What do all pastures have? There are fences, right? So there are things nearby that you could weave through that wouldn't necessarily be like if you hopped a fence, they wouldn't be able to hop a mammoth fence with a horse.
Yeah.
Right. They would either have to get off and walk through or go around, right? So these are some options available to you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll.
And this music is way too calm now. We're gonna have to change that up. It is now definitely suspense music, right?
Funny. Alright, yeah. Let me hear what you switched it to.
I don't know if I have the right tracks up right now, but we'll make this work.
Man, that is just coming in kind of crackly for me.
Oh no, you might have to turn it down a touch. Sounds beautiful to me.
I wonder if it's just the headset that's sounding weird. Yeah, because it's weird. Okay, that's better. Cool. Alright, yeah, so we'll duck into the pasture if we haven't already.
Yeah, so you kind of duck underneath some of the large, whole tree lumbers, right? And you're now amongst these beasts. Do we have? Yeah, we have animal husbandry. A huge mammoth, as you duck in, kind of you're like, oh great, cover, right? And you hear as one of them kind of turns and looks down, and you feel a giant trunk as this mobile schnoz is kind of sniffing at you.
Oh, it's so cute.
I'm gonna need an animal husbandry check if you're gonna be amongst these things.
Yep. Let's just see how this goes. We're on a roll so far. I'm sure.
You do have 2 story points, which remember you can use to upgrade any roll.
And I ride the mammoth. 1, 2.
So he's just kind of looking at you right now. These are very domesticated creatures, so they're not really particularly, and they don't really care about bugs, right? A bug's a bug, a person to person. They don't have any superstitions themselves. Mm-hmm. So they're not really doing anything right now. He just kind of looks at you and turns around and starts eating some grass.
Okay. We're gonna try to skirt around them, give them a comfort bubble. I'm sure a mammoth has their own size bubble that seems appropriate,
Okay, but are you still trying to use them as cover?
Yes.
Which one do you value more?
The having cover.
Okay. Because
good question.
providing them a big bubble means less cover, right?
Yeah, I was thinking as we go around them and then we're behind them, so.
Right. Okay. So give me a stealth check, which will be easier, and then you're gonna have to give me another animal husbandry check.
1 success, 2 advantage for the stealth check.
1 success, 2 advantage. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now give me your animal husbandry check.
Animal husbandry is willpower. Okay. How many times does this been my roll tonight? 3 advantage. Oh, okay. Should I be having a boost for everything? 1 second. Nope, he's worthless. I mean, he's great.
Okay. So you see him, he's a little bit afraid of the mammoth too.
Thanks for all the help so far, dude. Anyway. I didn't really say that.
They have sayings for my kind. Being squashed like a bug. And he kind of starts moving a little bit further, and you can see, that way! They're amongst the mammoths!
Squashed like a bug or poked like... You know what? I'm not actually sure. was gonna say porcupine, but they kind of do the poking. Anyway, and I'm just like running.
So you guys start taking off as light starts to descend. Give me an athletics check.
Yeah, with the everything's with the boost right now.
Yes, it's just moving you with the boost.
1 success, 2 advantage.
Okay. You start to make some headway, and it starts to get dark as you. Excuse me.
Sneeze.
You find a fence. You find 2 larger running fences, and your options are head east or head north. Basically, sorry. There's a fence that heads east, north to south, and there's another one that heads east to west.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
Does north still feel like the right direction to go at this point, or is that like
No, you kind of cross. That's where a lot of these mammoths were, but it's starting the herd's starting to spread, so to speak.
Where is the start of the forest for me? Because that's like my happy place, right? So
the start of the forest is give me a perception check.
Yeah. Or would this be a survival?
This would be a. Actually, yeah. Give me a survival check.
Okay.
Or a knowledge nature.
I will do survival if you are okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
2 success, 3 advantage.
2 success, 3 advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You think that if you carry out a brisk pace throughout the entire night, you might be able to make it to the forest before daylight.
Okay.
That's how far away it is.
It's pretty far.
Yeah. But with your success on your survival, you do know that you could potentially, with the running fence that you have here, you could potentially like zigzag in between it, right? So if they're on the left side, if they're on the south side, go to the north side. If they're on the north side, go to the south side, so to speak. And you do know that there are a couple of hills between here and there that you could use, and a couple of ravines that you could use to run through, like small creeks, to help break off any sort of path, temporarily break line of sight and stuff like that from here to there. But it's going to be hard.
Okay.
Luckily, the sun is still setting a bit, and it's getting harder for them to make out what's you and what's a shadow, right?
Okay.
Off in the distance. So crouching down lower, and potentially, you might be able to, in certain areas, maybe even lay down, depending on, but it might just buy you might just be delaying, right?
Right. Yeah, I want us to keep moving, kind of doing the veering thing that you said, but like, at this point, I kind of want to be trying to lose their trail first, like get far enough away that they can't see us, and then try to be a little more sneaky, then try to not have an easy trail to follow,
Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics check as you try to continue to get ahead. Then, if that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I want to like not have them in field of view.
All right. You may spend strain to decrease the difficulty of this check.
Yeah, I'll spend some strain. This won't be a problem.
How many did you spend?
2. 1 and 1.
Hey, you passed though.
Okay.
You suffer 1 more strain as you attempt to get some distance on these guys.
Getting tired.
Luckily, at this point, it has gotten dark enough where they start to have to light torches, and you're able to make out. While you've been able to, not allow them to gain footing, towards you, you're probably 100 yards from them at this point. And they've started to light their torches because it's now getting dark enough where you could potentially break line of sight. It's been really hard to this point, but using your surroundings and stuff like that, you've been able to thwart them a little bit here, a little bit there, shave off some time, when you originally had like a mile on them, right?
Okay.
But they've been closing in, and luckily the dark is on your side at this point. I don't know your name.
I'm Emery.
I'm Archek. It'd be nice to know your name if we're to die together.
What was that again?
Archek.
Archek?
Archek.
I'm hoping we're not gonna die together. I mean, I was hoping we'd, get away. I don't know what got into them. They're not normally quite so rude.
They are often ruder if you knew what it was like to be me.
You don't seem all that bad to me. You tried to help. But, that seemed odd, didn't it? I couldn't figure out how to heal it, and...
I've known better to go near the saplings. All kinds are protective of their youth.
The saplings?
The wee ones, the wailing kind. He's referencing the little kids. Darkness has descended. And at this point, you have managed to get to the point where you haven't reached a forest, but trees have sprouted up here and there, so to speak, little crops. You feel like at this point, even your breath while you pant and run could be heard from the folks that are chasing you. And give me a stealth check.
Okay. Hey, human boy, what up?
We got a friend.
Oh,
A friend with us, huh?
I don't know if he thinks... I'm guessing I'm the silly and not you. There's no way you're the silly.
Because I can't see the comment, I have no idea who the silly is, but if they're showering them with praise, I hope it's me. You ready for your stealth check?
Yes, sir. There it is. 1 and 0.
Did you add your boost from your ally?
Oh, 1 and 1.
Okay. So, as you continue to move, there is both a pro and a con. The search party has split up.
Okay.
There are now 3 search parties of 3 instead of 1 search party of 9.
Okay.
But unfortunately, too, it's made it harder to lose them. What would you like to do?
What? It's gonna be harder to lose them. What is it like around us at this point? Like, is there any place we could hide?
You could try hiding at this point. Duck behind a rock, so to speak. Find a small bush. There's only 2 of you, so to speak.
Yeah. And I feel like it's maybe gonna be... I don't know what's gonna be easier. This isn't our specialty here. 2 and 1.
2 and 1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Crouching down, you find a spot, and the search parties continue past you. So now you have 2 search parties to the east of you that have continued on, whereas 1 has stayed back and is proceeding to do serpentine patterns back towards town.
Oh.
So they're still in your area, but they're doing cross motion, like doing a more thorough sweep, while the other 2 make sure that you weren't ahead, so to speak.
Okay, so are they, as the serpentine pattern one, heading towards us or away from us?
At this moment, they're heading away from you, but they will eventually circle back, and you are in the serpentine pattern.
Okay. Do I see anywhere else where we could, like, find another place to kind of hide outside of their path?
Give me a perception check as it's getting darker.
Okay. 3 success.
Okay. You look over, and you're like, that cropping of rocks, that looks about right.
Okay.
But you'll probably have to time it, right? Because it looks like it's a little bit further away. You're gonna need to give me a coordination check to, or a stealth check to move quickly and assuredly between here and there.
Okay.
Which one are you doing?
They're both the same for me. I'm
Okay.
gonna go for stealth thematically. 1 success.
Okay. You do manage to move quietly, and you get to your destination quicker than you thought you would. But it's because the rocks are smaller, the rock outcropping, and it doesn't actually cover you up as well as you'd hoped. And at this point, the group the search party has turned around and started making their way back towards you. And now your old spot is between you and them. You'd have to go toward them to get to your old spot. What do you do?
Keep trying to move further away.
Okay, so you're gonna turn around and move in the same direction that they're going, or
is there anything close to me that I can hide behind again?
okay,
Like further away.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw you on a map.
Okay.
And let me just grab up some dudes quick. Alright, so you are. Oops. I didn't realize what layer I was at.
Is it okay if I go grab some water?
Go ahead. Let's see if we have horses to throw these guys on while we're waiting. Horse it. Hey. kind of how it is.
Okay. That's a cool map.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
we're here.
Yep, and a couple guys on horses are heading towards you.
Okay. Let's see. Do they see us yet? Is there any way for us to duck lower first?
This rock outcropping is really small.
Okay.
You could attempt a harder stealth check to lay low here. They haven't seen you just yet, but they will come, like, within a minute, they will be on top of you.
Okay. Can we try to, like, go more like this direction? Like...
Yeah, but in order to... That is open ground for quite a bit. Mm-hmm. You will need to go quickly, and you will need to go quietly in order to break... Like, in order to get out of their line of sight.
Okay. Can I spend a story point to say there is, like, a fallen tree in the path or something like that that would make it hard for them to cut past us as we flee that direction?
Yeah, like hindering terrain. So if they do see you, that they can't just like beeline towards you.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. Let's see if I have anything that I can throw down on the map. Actually, let's just do it this way. Rehand. So there will be a tree, like here.
Okay.
Okay. So move your characters in the direction that you hope to go.
Okay.
And give me an athletics check.
1, 2, 2. Alright. I can't move the other guy, just...
You're fine.
2 and 1.
Okay. So you start running in that general direction. You're going to need to spend 2 strain in order to be able to move fast enough here. And then you can give me a... this will be a stealth check versus these guys' perception.
Alright. 2 greens and a boost is just what we roll tonight. That's... doesn't matter what it is. Alright. 2 and 3.
Okay. 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You are able to make off in the in this general area in the direction that you're hoping to go. Okay.
Okay.
As you do, however, you trip on a depression in the ground. One of the hoof of the horses must have found a soft spot and caused a depression that has frozen as it got colder at night. And you twist your ankle. You suffer 3 wounds.
All right.
As you twist your ankle.
I'm assuming not soakable.
Huh?
I'm assuming not soakable.
Non-soakable.
Yeah.
And give me a discipline or a cool check not to shout as you limp your butt along.
Cool or discipline? I'll try to...
That's because I rolled a despair, by the way.
Try to control myself. I'm doing discipline. 2 and 1.
I'm sorry, I rolled 2 failure. Ah! You shout out.
Come on.
I'm here. What was that? Right.
The eye opens a little bit.
Right. And you hear Archek looks over and he goes, I'll stall them. And
No.
as you hear him say that, he looks at your ankle and he's going to gesture out towards your ankle as these guys start riding towards you, and you see part of his hand starts to deteriorate as you hear rhythmic clicking of his mandibles, and you see his other hand bury into the soil, and you can see the grass around his hand die as he attempts to mend your ankle. Heal 2 wounds as he does this. And then as he does this, he's going to take his other hand and sink it into the ground as well. And he goes, thank you, run. As you see the horses start to run towards you.
Come with me.
What do you do?
I try to get him to come with me.
Okay, so you're gonna pull on him?
Yeah. No, we're in this together. Come on.
Okay, give me a leadership check.
All right. Not with the boost. 1 and 1.
Okay. And then he goes, then we fight.
Fight? No,
Looking over, you see the horses barreling towards you guys, and they rear up.
Please stop.
Next to this dead tree, and as they do, you see that the dead tree rears back too, and you see that the limbs start to flay upwards, and as they do, it's almost as if the tree itself springs to life. 1 moment, I want.
Great story point spend.
What was that?
I'm a pro at spending story points. Who knew?
Oh, right.
I feel like I'm getting extra.
The tree comes to life. Roll for initiative.
All right. What kind of roll you looking for?
This would be cool or stealth at this point.
Cool or stealth? Yep. 1 and 1.
Let's see here. Add turn.
Oh, he's cool. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit.
Oh, wrong button. Darkness. Why am I? Okay, here's the turn over. Oh, it's because I just don't have anything for those guys. Okay. Adversaries, presence. That would be 2. Oh, they hit. Poor peasants. They have no skills.
Imagine that.
The upgraded ones. Okay. What did you roll?
I rolled 1-1.
Okay, and then I just need to roll for art check. Cool. Ooh, I'm just gonna have them roll for cool. Okay. It is your turn.
Okay.
This should be a little bit smaller. Whoopsie days.
We can keep running. Come on.
As you say that, you see that he's kind of like in concentration.
Oh.
So you tug on him. You can lead him along and try to get him to move, but he seems to be pretty distracted.
Okay. We mean you no harm. Please let us go. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to try to pull him along.
Okay.
And I am trying to talk to them and convince them, like...
Okay. Give me a charm or a leadership check.
Okay. Charm. 1, 2.
They can't hear you over the sudden panic of the shrieking horses at the woodland creature. So that would be a maneuver to do that. Would you like to use a maneuver to pull them along? Okay, so you can attempt to move in the opposite direction, and you can pull him at hindering speed. Okay, so you're moving him with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're moving him along, and these scared peasants start hacking at this thing that sprung from the ground in front of them. Doing no good as they attempt.
Peasants are no good.
This the one of the gentlemen whom you have a hard time seeing from here. He seems to fall off the horse, and his horse goes running.
Terrible at their jobs.
Right. And this guy's going to attempt to go around. Ooh. No, not you. Oh, fine, just the horse. Punk. Okay, so one of them starts tearing around to try to get after you guys from these rocks. It's like, monster, right? And then it is going to move forward and attack the remaining horse meanwhile. Excuse me. Let's see here. It too misses as it swings out, and the horse rears and it like kind of kicks out with its front legs, keeping it at bay. What would you like to do? Oh, sorry, Archek also looking over here, like he's concentrating on this, but he's like he looks at you and nods, and is going to attempt to move with you.
All right. And then it's back to me.
Yep.
I want to keep trying to go away as
Okay.
we're going. So
Give me an athletics check as you try to basically make distance at this point.
I am not trying to push myself too hard because I'm super close to passing it. I'm getting very tight. 2 and 1.
2 and 1. Okay. So you stumble and fall, and you're getting really, really tired at this point. Archek tries to help put you over his shoulder, so to speak, and help move you along. And I'm going to do... These guys gotta pass a coercion check to continue to chase you. Oh man, okay. So, Archek grabs you, attempts to continue to pull you along. At this point, you hear the curses of a villager panicking and trying to deal with this awoken piece of wood that it was dealing with. Coming up from behind, another villager on horseback manages to catch up with you guys down the way. He's going to attack you as you are running.
No, stop!
Give me a defense check.
Yeah, dude. 1 and 1.
That's a rough one. Okay, he misses as he swipes by you with his weapon, and he looks at you and goes, I never did like you freaks in our town. I always knew that you were gonna try to steal us back, make us into one of your horned people.
Wow. That is just so rude.
Rude. So he comes swathing by with his weapon, so to speak. What do you do at this point?
Wait, so is it my turn?
Yes.
I'm going... Can I try to, like, spook his horse?
Sure. How are you going to attempt to spook his horse?
What do I have in my... Like, I'm trying to think of, like, what I would have that would, like, make the horse rear and run. You know, like... I have like a flint and steel. I have like a hatchet. You know, like that type of thing. So I don't want to like hurt the horse, but I'm trying to think of like if like flame would scare it, or you know,
Right.
or even just like
it would be an action to light a torch.
okay.
And then I would allow a maneuver to attempt to like wave it at the horse or something like that. But it would be harder because it would be a maneuver instead of an action.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like I don't know horses very well, or like what would spook them.
I mean, fire is probably a good option. Loud noises would do it too.
Okay. Can't really run if that's what I do. I'll try to do fire, because I don't want to make more noise. So I'm gonna light a torch and try to.
Okay. Give me a survival check, just for you trying to light a torch in the middle of combat, so like in the dark quickly.
Yeah. Oh, not a purple.
As long as you get a success, you're fine.
All right, that is 5 success.
Why didn't you roll like that at any point before?
Because I'm much better at survival than running.
Right. Okay, so
I've not done cardio.
You managed to get the torch lit, and in the time that it takes, I'll allow you to say like you had like some oil in your pouch. You managed to like drip it on there really quick, and so it's gonna be a particularly bright torch, which is that you can get a boost on your coercion against the horse.
Coercion against the horse. And you said, sorry, a boost because of the.
Yes.
Okay. 1 and 3.
Okay, so you wave the torch back and forth in front of the horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you do, it kind of rears up a little bit, but it's not enough to get it to actually like throw its rider or to go off running or anything like that. As you swoop it in front of him, not necessarily reinforcing the I mean no harm sort of vibes, right? But you're dealing with prejudiced peasants, right?
He was very rude.
Yeah.
I tried very hard to, not attack or be, and then he was so rude.
Right. At which point, Archek looks over and goes, they never understand, but they were right to fear. And he reaches his hand up, and as he does, let's see here, average check. You can roll me 2 purple dice, please.
Failure.
Okay. Darn it.
Sorry.
Really? 2 purple dice, huh?
Yep.
Does he get any bonuses on that? No, he does not. Darn it. He reaches up and, unfortunately, as he waves his hand, the guy kind of like, because the horse jerked back, you see that part of one of the bushes behind this guy just crumbles into dust behind him.
Okay.
And he just goes, uh-oh, and turns around and stumbles backward.
Okay.
So he's running off at this point, and then the guy looks back and goes, I found him! I'm after him! And then he's going to attempt to stick you with his. He's going to try to whack you with his rake, pretty much. As one of his other buddies starts to come back and join him too.
Okay. I got 2 failure.
Man, it's just been a fail storm tonight, hasn't it? No one's doing anything. Okay. So he swings at you again, but at this point his horse is it's not really born and bred as a war horse, right? So it's starting to get a bit skittish. especially as Art or Archek does this like pervert like their version of a hiss. It's like at the horse and kind of like swipes at it with his like scything little claw hands.
Yeah.
What do you do? What are you attempting at this point?
What do my surroundings actually look like?
So at this point, there's scattered trees, and it's still, I would say, like lolling hills, but like there's a couple. I mean, obviously it's not perfectly flat, right? And then off in the distance, you still see two other groups of torches, but they're like probably getting to the point of being like a half mile away.
Okay.
Actually, even a mile away, but noise can carry in this at this point, even somewhat over the wind, because there's quite a bit of wind out here too.
How do I want to write this? Trying to just think of how I want to say what I want to say.
Okay.
So, what have we done to even warrant this? Why would you be attacking us? And I'm going to be like trying to back away, okay? And just think, this is so foolish. Go home. Kind of heading off of the map, but you get the point.
Right. He looks at you and goes, "Don't think that you can back out of the way this time. You creatures, you stick to the shadows and you prey on the weak, like the kids. But we see you for what you are. We're not gonna let you get away so easily. So that way, the next time our backs are turned and we're having our delights at our festivals, that you think that you can pray in the dark, come at us."
Pray in the dark? I was selling puppies in town.
Give me a coercion check.
I was trying to heal a dog.
Sorry, not a coercion check. Give me a negotiation or a leadership check. Or charm. I'm not sure which one.
I'll do charm.
Put that out there.
And I gave him at a pretty nice discount.
Give me a boost. Just for that. I was selling puppies at a discount.
3 success.
Okay.
I wouldn't hurt a fly. I was just trying to help.
So he sticks back a little bit and looking around, and his buddy's kind of pulling up, and he looks at you and looks at his buddy and goes, "If I see you around town again," so he goes, "Yeah, if we see you around town or any of these bugs, know that we're gonna hang you on the spot."
Know that you lost some valuable allies today, sir. The woods might not be so friendly next time.
Ooh, nice. His friend comes up and goes, "Whoa!" and his buddy stops him there for a moment, and kind of looks back and goes, "It's not worth it. Let's go." And him and his buddy start turning around and head backward. And Bugman's kind of like looks over at them and like just like kind of slinks towards you. And you guys, what do you do?
Hey, Artie. I can call you Artie, right?
Sure. He kind of, he's like a little uncomfortable, like how, you're like your turn of tension to like
Yep.
just absolute comfort.
Yeah. That was a little scary. Do you think they're really gone? I'm kind of like backing away and like watching them.
You do know that there are the other two groups between you and the Scar.
Okay, so just the one group backed off, and the other two were or weren't alerted to.
That you know of, as of right now.
That was a question. They are or aren't alerted to our presence.
The other groups?
Yes.
You don't know, unless you would like
okay.
to. No. You can do a investigation check or a perception check to see if you can hear them like talking about like this way, or didn't you hear that? You can like see if you can hear them from here to see if they heard. You can overhear them talking about coming this way.
Okay. I will do that, but I'm moving still. Like, as long as Artie's coming with me, right? Is he walking with me?
My friends call me Art.
Art.
You can be a friend. And give me a perception check.
Oh, at least I've earned that after all this. We feel like I've made a heck of a lot more enemies than friends, and I'm not sure why. 2 and 2.
It's really hard to tell from here, like if they're moving or where what kind of patterns they are, because they seem to be going perpendicular to you a little bit. Mm-hmm. They seem to have started to do some serpentine patterns themselves.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to move more slow and cautious, sneaky style,
Okay.
versus like any more breakneck running, because I am tired.
Are you gonna try to go around them or between them? The two different groups between here and the Scar.
I would like to try to go around them.
Okay. And how much of a berth would you like to give these groups?
A wide berth.
So you're gonna go like north, or you're gonna go south then, in order to go far enough. Okay, you're gonna head north?
Yes.
Okay. So over enough time, you manage to get enough, actually give me a survival check.
Yeah, boy. I can do survival. 2 and 1.
Okay. So over enough time, you manage to gain enough distance from them that you manage to gain enough distance between the two of you that you feel like you're comfortable enough to cut back and start heading east. And it's at this point it's very late at night, very very late. If you would like to take any rest before morning, now would be the time to take a long rest. Otherwise, you can push through the night, and you could sleep in the morning, like sleep in the day too. Like, what would you like to do?
I would like to make it feel safe, like as had been basically passed out in the woods if possible. Like try to get as far or as we can before I'm utterly exhausted, which is
Okay.
like I'm pretty strain is high right now.
Okay.
So.
All right. So you move yourself along, and you're not able to fully make it to the forest, but at this rate, you do manage to get to the point where, as the sun starts to rise, the folks on your tail are no longer there, and you do collapse into a bit of a sheltered spot that Art is able to gather up some supplies as you roll out your bedroll and get ready, because you're on your way out of town anyway, so you have your stuff set up for that. Art is very very low on stuff. His cloak was ripped from his back, and so he's got a couple of packs still, but
I have like rations and stuff that I would share with him.
okay. He goes while you're getting ready to collapse for the night. He basically makes a bit of a makeshift shelter for you guys, and yeah, you bed down for the night and just kind of zonk.
Yep.
As you do, let's see here. Nothing really happens while you sleep, and slowly it becomes, the sun rises and it carries over to, midday,
Okay.
and you find yourself on the verge of the forest. What at this point it's you.
Do
and
I
it's
feel
art.
comfortable enough that nobody's on our tail at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that you were doing earlier with your hands and the healing? Thank you for my ankle. I don't think I've seen anything like that before.
My people are naturals at it. Some call it witchcraft, others sorcery.
I've heard of witchcraft, but I haven't seen your hand is disintegrating and the grass dying. It's
Looking down at his hand, it looks like at some point over the night it had healed. And you see that there is a small dead patch of grass nearby. Yes. The stuff that makes up life gives and takes. It can be coerced from one state to another.
so you had to coerce those poor grass blades into giving you your hand back?
I asked, and it was willing.
That makes sense. Nature's always giving when she can be. Or he, I suppose.
Indeed. I do miss the woodlands.
I miss my trees. The ones here are a bit different.
Every tree has its own personality, just like the soil and the folks who walk on it.
I definitely agree. But where did you come from?
It's a long story, but my people are from a place, a home. My home is Paratisium.
Paratisium. Have I heard of that before?
Give me a knowledge people check.
3.
No, doesn't really ring a bell. He kind of looks over and sees the confusion in your face, and he goes, "Mine are from the woodlands. There are folk like yours there." Which you would know that's very true. Like, that's not uncommon.
No, yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. It's usually when there's, a forest, there's a woodland. That makes sense. But why were you in Bronton?
I was looking about for my lady, but what she wanted was not. It's nothing. I owe you. You saved me.
What? You were looking for something for your lady, or you were looking for your lady?
I was looking for something of value to me lady, but It's no matter anymore.
What does that mean?
I need to get you home. That is my duty now.
Tough. I suppose my home would be a safer place for us. If that's all right.
It is.
Hate to be away for too long.
It is the only thing I can do after you saved me. I wouldn't have made it back there. Not without making it worse for mine.
I don't know why they were so rude. Have they been like that to us in the past when I've gone to Bronton? Or have I been to Bronton? I assume I've been to Bronton before. If I went alone.
You know, that was a bit much in comparison to past outings with these people. Maybe it was something to do with the kids. Maybe it was something to do with the crying dog. I mean, they've been suspicious of your kind a little bit, but you'd like to think that you've built up at least somewhat of a working relationship, right? Mm-hmm. That being said, you've seen them treat other types this way before.
Okay.
So it's hard to say. This was, I would say, particularly territorial of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it's noteworthy.
Okay. But not totally out of character.
Correct.
By any means.
Correct. It is like a barking dog growling. It's like one notch further than you're used to with them, but you've seen them barking before, you know?
Yeah. Good. So are we in the scab at this point?
You're on the verge of the scab.
Could you tell me a bit about the scab versus my forest?
Yeah, so the scab is one of the few forests that has no shepherd, so to speak. There are no Woolund here. There are no timbermen. There are no nothing. It's as close to a earth forest as you would come across. It is just full of animals doing animal stuff. Which I mean,
nobody to watch over it.
No one's watching over it. Yeah.
What's the? Here, I'll just ponder it aloud as Emery. It seems so odd that nobody ever really took this place under their wing, doesn't it? I kind of like looking around. Do I know, like, if there was any reason why that is? You know, like something funky with in the water.
Give me a knowledge people check.
One success, but 5 advantage.
Yeah, so something that comes to mind, and it's not something that's talked about explicitly amongst your people, because your people have some pride, is that there are definitely some Woolund who would insinuate that the scab used to be controlled by the Nintunga. That would have been a long time ago. And it's a matter of distance breeds comfort. It's an insulator between you and some of the other people out there, right?
Okay.
And your tribe hasn't gotten bigger either. So it's harder to control some areas, and because of the natural path of the Fulcrum stream, it's a lot harder to, it was the logical piece not to be left underneath of a microscope, so to speak, by your people. So unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever you want to say on that, it's been left to his own devices.
Okay. Alright, did you have anyone else with you, or were you traveling alone? I didn't even think to ask.
kind of looks down. It's bad enough for folks to see me, but for my kind to travel together is a bigger concern for folks. It's easier to travel alone.
Sorry to hear that. Definitely hurt my feelings what they were saying about my horns. I don't see anything quite wrong with you. You're just different.
He kind of, with his, he does his little like quivering, clicking.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like reaches out to do it, and then he puts his hand back, and he like he's gonna touch your horn, and then puts his arm back, and he goes.
I have a little bobble hanging from it, by the way. It's got like little, the equivalent of earrings, but for horns, right?
Okay.
Like little danglies.
He kind of like gestures up. No wonder why you're failing all your stealth checks. Jingle, 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 jingle. Your horns are getting like caught on sticks and stuff.
Yes.
Ah!
Yeah. No, she has lots of baubles all over her outfit and earrings and.
He goes. They're very beautiful. And could you describe what kind of horns do you have for the audience?
Yeah, I have like big horns that kind of like curl back, like I always want to say a holla, but that's like a reference to like Dragon Age creature. So it's like it's like an Urdu or
kudu,
something,
right?
or a kudu, something like that. And so yeah, they kind of curl back. I've got my hair in a big honkin' braid with all sorts of stuff kind of weaved into it.
Okay.
Baubles and stuff on my horns. I don't have like, the horns are really the only animalistic really feature that I have. It's not like I have hooves or anything quite like that.
Okay.
Definitely got like the classic, almost like a wood elf look from.
You got the knife
the rest
ears?
of it. I've got pointy ears, got darker like tanned skin.
Okay.
Like I'm in the sun all of the time,
And
I'm always outside.
And we do have professional art in development currently, so we'll get to update our character tokens for our player characters here in the near future. So extra fun, extra exciting. He gestures up towards your horns and goes, "They are very artsy." He kind of trying to find the right word. He goes, "Very good. The sapient trait is nice too," gesturing towards like the baubles. He's like not sure exactly the right wording for it.
Yeah. Thank you. And this
use.
flower here, my brother gave it to me. We've got to get back to him soon.
Your fellow broodkin.
You
you're
know what?
close?
Sure. Yeah.
You're close to him?
Oh, yeah. I live with my brother, and we're basically like the best of friends. I mean, spend every day with him. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he gets on my nerves, but, such as, brother-sister stuff,
No, I don't know, but I'll get you back to brother.
Thank you.
Maybe in the meantime, he kind of reaches out towards the flower, which at this point it's been at least like 13 days since if your brother picked it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It started to wilt a little bit and it's lost a petal. He kind of like reaches up and he kind of reaches down towards the ground, and you see part of the grass once again starts to darken, and he brings life anew to the petal itself.
Wow. Can you teach me how to do that?
I'm no teacher, but I'll try.
Okay. Well, I've got a lot of questions, and I just start walking.
Okay. So as you guys move along, chatting for a while, it is, like I was saying, it's 9 more days to get home, and over the course of that time, he starts talking about the nature of his magic. For him, it's much more natural. It's not something that's done. There is some classical training. It's not like all Tekaknu can just do this magic. It's not like they're like a dragon and can breathe fire, but it is something that they're really naturally inclined toward. And so over time, they do have some teachings, and so he tries to get you to understand a couple of these small things. And over time, let me see here. Each night, he basically helps you learn some of this stuff. And I got something in my notes. Just gotta find it. Where did you go? Okay. What is that? Okay. He does manage to teach you a little bit, and it's a bit weird what he manages to help you do. And he pulls a root off of a tree, right? A vine off of a tree, and discusses how he goes, you must infuse it with its own intent. Ask it what it wants to do. Understand it for what it wants to do before you suggest to it what it might do differently. And over time, you manage to get this small twig to move just so slightly. But it is an experience that you have never been able to do before, and it's only under some of these mental exercises that he's been able to coax with you that suddenly this thing starts to breathe a little bit of life. And it's a bit taxing as you do it, right? But you think that understanding some of these things, some of these this flora, you realize that it has some of its own wants and needs as well, and sometimes it's just a little bit of talking to with it. It's a different type of talking that you've experienced before. What languages do you have?
A lot. Common, primitive, primordial, and profane. Yeah.
So this definitely feels like a primordial, right? It's just like the next level. It's like they taught you some of the being able to listen to the wind and being able to hear how a leaf is going to fall and what that means from the tree. But now it's getting to the point of one extra layer deep in that.
Okay.
And that's kind of how time goes. And as you continue through the forest, he teaches you more and more in this regard. Do you have any traps?
I have materials to make traps. So I could try to make a trap.
You don't necessarily need to do that yet. But what you do is you're able to eventually talk to some of these plant-like things. And as you kind of set one out, you ask it to do something. And
hey, Twix, get up and dance. That didn't work.
The stick actually rights itself and then falls over. Okay.
I suppose that was a little more complicated than you would have expected it. Viney, twist.
Twists. Yeah. Exactly. And then Archer comes over to us. It is the first step of asking it what to do is important, but the next step is to teach it context. And he kind of looks over, and you see him stick his hand into the ground, and you see a stick up ahead wiggle a little bit, and then you see him pull his hand out of the ground and dusts it off, and then he gestures for you to walk down the path.
Okay, kind of I'm looking at him. Okay. And I walk down.
And as you step over the twig, it reaches up and grabs your leg.
Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Indeed. It's important to know that while you haven't met this stick, do not divulge too much into giving it humanities. It is not awoken. Awoken are things of an infinitely more complex nature. This is a bit of you in it.
Me in it?
Plants have natural states of how they want to be. You can ask it to do something different, but when it listens, that is you entering it, you changing it. That part of it is now you, not it being different. You speak to yourself to a degree.
And it doesn't mind?
It doesn't know better. Others would. It depends on the context of it always depends on context.
Makes sense. And I try to touch I reach down and touch the stick around my leg and ask it to let me go.
Okay. Give me you're a witchcraft caster, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to carefully articulate the wording, and as you speak out loud in the primordial tongue, go ahead and give me a witchcraft check.
1 and 4.
Okay. So as you do that, you find that it helps when you kind of weave and bob, almost like the wind and nature is vibing and coursing through you, and your gestures as you speak aloud help give you a frame of context of you being as the stick is, or the stick as it moves to the rushing waters to drink from this world. And it gives you just enough context for you to be able to build the spell within you that asks it to release, so to speak. And in asking it to release, you made it part of the definition of what it is.
Cool. Indeed.
The restless are near. They are all curious on of their existence. Some of them fear they were once the stick. But how now are they who they are?
The restless. You mean the undead ones? The ones with the bones and they walk around it?
Duman's restless, yes.
Have I seen them before?
Yeah, you would have had a little bit of contact with them, depending on how much you would have been leaving town. What have you been spending most of your years doing?
So she is a bit of a tinkerer, I wouldn't go as far to say a builder, but puts together sort of, smaller things like tools and things of that nature for the people. She would do repairs. She wouldn't be building a building or anything like that, but more of the stuff that's, hands-on, not architectural or anything like that. Traps and
You're
things like that.
Like a restorationist, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Helping cure the land, so to speak, in some ways, and then providing tools. Is what you're saying.
But I'll do stuff like this too because I'm just curious about the world. You know, like it's nice to get out and see the different faces. You know, like I just am interested in learning everything around me, right? So
then you would have definitely grabbed on some of the information about the political setting of the Gnarlwood. What are you specifically asking for? Are you just what's the broad strokes or
for my character, if they'd interacted with them before, whether or not they gave me good vibes. You know what I mean? So like whether or not I felt like they were bad or not, because obviously like they're undead. So like if they were respectful to the forest or not, had I encountered them before, you know, because I probably have a different feel about them than like people of frickin' Bronton would.
Right. Approaching them with an open mind. There are some that give you the heavy feelings of Emendaja, which for the audience, that's the feeling of like the hair on the back of your neck going up. It's that moment in a movie where you want to scream at the movie to not go into the dark, dank cellar. That's Emendaja. It's the sense of turn back, and it's described to many different things in this world, whether or not it be a god or a natural circumstance, but that's what it is, roughly speaking. Some give you that. Other ones, because of your naturally unbiased disposition, they don't give you that. But it is a case by case scenario. Some of them feel predatory. Some creatures have taken on the name of restless, even though they don't quite hail from that. They hail from a profane background and are predatory in nature. So, just like people, right? Some of them are calm, happy people. They're just farmers, and then sometimes they just whip out a pitchfork and looking for something to burn because maybe they had a bad day.
Yeah. Speaking of, you said they're curious. Well, curious is a hell of a lot better than what we just experienced.
Curiosity, the desire to understand. That is good. It is a good thing. And with that, you guys make your way back to the Fulcrum Stream. And as you kind of walk up and down the Fulcrum Stream and get acquainted with where you are specifically, and manage to make your way back to the original ferry, which is basically just a gigantic piece of bark with some oars, right? And it's one of those things where you have to carry it upstream a bit, so that way you don't get blown way off course. You know, with the Fulcrum Stream always taking you south. But you guys managed to carry it back up river, so to speak, and you set off across the way, getting yourself back within the border of the Gnarlwood. Crossing back into the Gnarlwood, you spend some time, and you can actually heal all strain, and you have one damage on you?
I did have one.
You can consume one ration and recover that as well.
I already consumed one ration for both of us because I gave food to that dude.
Okay.
Should I consume another?
Did you want to forage for food or eat your
I'll
rations?
forage for food.
Okay. Yeah, give me a survival check. And then I think he's actually got a decent survival as well.
Yeah, but I got 4 and 2.
Okay. You know what? With that high of a success, I would say, because you'd be able to find 4 days worth of food, and then I would give you a survival check every single day to forage for food. So I'm just not even going to have you roll, because you're probably going to pass plenty fine to get home.
I got 4 success. That's 4 days. There you go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a 10-day trip, though. So I'm assuming that between the average of rolls, you're always going to be able to find enough food. So instead of just smashing dice for a while, you're able to forage naturally in the Scar and the Gnarlwood. But one thing that you do notice here, actually, give me a vigilance check or a survival check.
I'll do survival.
You're in the forest here.
2 and 1. 2
2 and 1. To follow the cliche, it's quiet in the Gnarlwood as you get closer and closer to home.
Is it too quiet?
It is.
This is
There's an unease to the forest.
odd. Usually the chickadees come out and they say hi to me.
I feel it too. Someone's not welcome. And I don't think it's me. He kind of looks around.
Yeah, when he says that, can I try to look around for, like, sense another presence? Like another person.
Sure.
I assume that would be perception.
Give me a perception check.
2 and 1.
Okay. You don't see anyone. You don't hear anyone. What do you do?
I'm feeling pretty cautious. I'm gonna start moving, but moving quicker towards home. Like
Okay.
quickening my pace, but not like sprinting, right? You know,
Yeah.
like still trying to kind of keep an eye out as I'm
Give me a vigilance check.
walking.
Because you're just like trying to be aware of signs, right?
Right, yeah, like I'm kind of speed walking and keeping my eyes moving. 4 advantage.
Okay.
No success.
As time moves on, eventually it's time to settle down for the night, and you get up the following day, and we'll say you're within today you will get to home village. And one thing that you couldn't make out at night that you can now that it's cresting daylight. And sorry, this would have been. You would have been much closer to the Fulcrum Stream. So it would still be, let's say that you arrived overnight across the stream. You traveled for a little bit and then you went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, you wake up and you can see on the horizon, but not too far away, because you're up kind of up on a little bit of an elevation. You see smoke, small signs of smoke, and your people are predominantly vegetarian, so you guys do not have like 15 campfires at the village or anything like that. So there's a little bit of smoke, enough for you to make out where camp is. And to know that they either this is a protein day or
We wouldn't be
tea.
clearing brush, or I suppose maybe someone's boiling something.
Best not tarry, but be wary.
Agreed. And I do my speed walk with my glances.
Okay. As you get closer, you see movement up ahead, and what appears to be. Give me another perception check.
3 advantage.
You suck.
My roll tonight.
You can't quite make out what's going down in the village. You do see movement though.
Okay.
But it's not the fluid motion of your people. And it is amongst your settlement. Although it does blend in naturally with the woods.
Something is off. I don't know what. My home is this way, and I'm gonna try to like skirt towards our house specifically.
Okay. As you do, you hear let's see here quick. You hear a familiar voice, and it is kind of husky, and you hear, "Leave Oliver alone!" Ah!
Oliver!
And the voice that you hear is Iridrin's. Iridrin is a very bovine, think Kanari type person, who is a very much so a fatherly figure to you and Oliver. I'm picturing what's that True Blood werewolf guy?
Oh, the one that the nerdy one?
Yeah, I'm picturing like that dude, but with like a broadened forehead with like Canari-esque horns, but like very similar, like a beard and chiseled jaw, right? That is kind of similar to what Iridrin looks like. And did you shout your brother's name?
Yeah. When I heard Oliver them say "stay away from Oliver,"
Okay.
I kind of I shouted that. I wouldn't have been able to.
Okay.
Oliver?
Archek goes to grab you quickly, like, no. And you hear down below, fault line, check it out.
What was that? Sorry.
You hear someone say, fault line, check it out.
Fault.
There might be someone up ahead. Yeah. And you hear coming from down below. And looking over, you can see this silhouette behind brush of a 10-foot figure making their way toward the noise that you made.
Okay. I'm gonna try to like duck and hide, but I'm also still trying to get like closer, just so I'm not trying to back away.
Archie goes, no. He's like, like he's trying to keep you from going forward further. Are you like?
I'll try to. I don't want to move farther.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
1, 2.
Get 2 boost dice from the terrain.
1, 4.
Okay. You steady your breathing as you look up from underneath really, really large. I picture like rhubarb leaves, and right above you is a hulking stone figure. He stops. You hear a kind of a grinding of stone on stone, and you hear rot. Ephemera wants us back by night. You hear it in the back, in the distance. Then gather who we can. We've got the lot. And you hear as someone else seems to have gotten either someone of your group cries out, and you hear shuffling up ahead.
I'm panicking, like trying to see my brother.
As you are panicking, looking, like trying to look around. Give me another stealth check. 2 boosts with the help of. Oh, actually, before you do that though, so you got 1 story point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to use your story point for anything in particular?
I want to see my brother.
Okay, I'll allow that. So, like, the clambering of this rock figure towards you has beaten down some of the brush, and you see your brother chained up in a procession line.
No.
And the procession line next to them, you see at least 12 other rock men amongst this group. One of them, a large figure, which is weird because it's like pointing out someone who's large amongst 10-foot tall stone men, right?
An even larger figure.
Who seems to have like a pulsating light coming off of them. And they have in one of their hands like a walking stick, a rod. And the rod is pulsating with a red light. And you can see amongst them these stone men. They're not just stone. Some of them seem to be made of different types. They all seem to be made of like certain different types of rocks. And the one closest next to you, you can see on their body script in metal that seems to be pulsating with an octarine light.
Do I know what these things are?
Give me a knowledge people check.
2-1.
Why do you always have to do 2 success or higher on subsidiary checks? These are onyx. You kind of look at them, and as you take a look at this one up close, it kind of occurs to you what these are, and it sinks into you how helpless the situation is.
Okay. Yeah. That's really that's how it felt that I figured. Yeah. Do I what do I know of these things? Like of onyx?
That's a pretty vague statement.
Like, have I ever encountered one before?
Yeah. You're pretty close to the mountain range here, to the highlands specifically.
Have they been a hostile force to us in the past?
Nope, they have not been. You deal mostly with the dwarves, but you've seen 1 or 2 onyx, so to speak. It's not like they've got a big settlement nearby.
So this is very weird.
Yep.
And could I think of any reason why this would occur? Would I know? Just like anything.
No.
Recent that we would have done to upset them or anything, you know. That's really.
No.
Okay. Is there any way for me to get to where my brother is? From where I am? Like, is there any sort of hidden path I could take that would somehow be hidden to get to him?
Give me a investigation check. Meanwhile, I'm trying to record the spacing on here quick.
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Okay. Looking up there, you see that it would be. They've started to move. You're pushing them around. In fact, one with the rod speaks up and goes, "Try not to break any of them. They work better as thralls when they're intact. And Ephemria needs them lusting for blood, not curing from wounds. And they start to lead the procession. Yes, there is some spaces that you could get up there, but it's one of those things where it would be damn near impossible.
Okay.
The golem in front of you turns around and starts to make back towards the group, and
I am going to try to follow.
as you do, I'm going to spend a story point and give you a story point back.
Okay.
And Art grabs you by the wrist quick and goes, "You can trust me. Please. Please don't. I can save one, but you must trust me.
Save one?
I can save one."
Ollie?
Kind of looks. "I can save one, but you must point, and we must go as soon as I do."
That's Ollie.
Okay. Describe Ollie.
And I point towards, I didn't actually, write it. 1 second.
Is he
a slimmer, tall male with, long, loose brown hair. He's got horns like mine and tan skin like mine. And he looks about the same, he looks like a young adult, which is the same age as me. Obviously, we're not humans, but, so it's not like I can put an age to that, but looks like a young adult.
Okay. He looks over there and nods. He looks with his many buggish eyes, very versatile buggish eyes, looks back at you and goes, "Remember, life does not die. It just changes form."
What? Wait, what?
And he looks over, and you see him stick his hand in the ground. He sticks his other hand in the ground. And you hear his wings flutter a bit. And you look over and you see your brother. And he kind of, in his shackles, you hear him go, "What?
What are you doing now?"
And he falls to his knees. And he seems to go, from what you can see, because you can see his back, the color seems to drain from him to an ashen gray.
No.
And eventually, so he does this, and you can see that a couple of the Onyx and a couple of the other people turn over at him in surprise, and a couple are horrified, right?
Mm.
And as he cries, he goes silent on his knees, and then he falls over, and he turns into powder.
No, that's not.
And at that point, Archie stands up and goes, "We run." And you see a couple of the Onyx looking over in your guys' general direction. At this point,
I jerk out of his grip.
What have you
done?
Goes, "I have saved him. Please trust me." And he turns and he's trying to pull you back towards the way you guys came from.
Bring my brother back. Bring him back. And I'm more chasing him than.
Yeah. Now with you chasing him, he's fine. He's fine with that.
Mm.
You hear.
Got tears streaming down my face. I'm just running after him,
right.
Pissed as hell.
A couple of the Onyx turn to pursue you guys, and you hear the leader, the clear leader of the group, kind of screech his head in place and goes, "You'll never catch them."
You'll never
They're
get
too
this.
fast for you. Can we carry on? He turns back as basically two of them go to pursue you guys, but they're much slower. But the rest of the group starts to turn as Art keeps moving towards back towards the river.
Okay.
He as you pull, he goes, "There are much worse things than death. For us, death can be a beginning."
You killed him? Why?
Yes. And he
No.
keeps going. "We don't have time. I'll explain. Trust me."
Trust you? You just killed my brother.
Uh, he looks at you, and he touches the flower on your head that was given to you by your brother. And he pulls it out of your hair and holds it in front of you for a moment as these onyx are coming. You hear in the trees. He goes, "Is this flower dead?"
Yes. No. Yes.
It is complicated, but we have no choice right now. There's things much worse than death. Things profane. And he puts it back in your hair. He goes, "If you want to see your brother, we run. If he wants to die, we stay."
Alright, sorry.
You and the Onyx are charging at this point towards you
Yeah.
guys.
Yep, no, I'm running,
Okay.
but pissed.
Huh?
But I'm pissed.
Right. Okay. As you guys move, you eventually come to the boundary of the Fulcrum Stream. And as you do, as you come to the boundary of the Fulcrum Stream, what do you do?
What is he doing?
He looks at you and goes, we trust her," and jumps onto the boat, so to speak, which he kind of like reaches out his hand towards you.
Oh, I don't take his hand, but I hop on the boat.
Okay. And he pushes away and lets the current basically take this thing. As the golem, they stomp towards you guys, but the water doesn't slow them, and because they can wade out basically until it's 10 feet deep. So they're catching up pretty quick, and as they do, stomp. Eventually, they hit mud basically, and they end up having to stop.
They get stuck.
Or basically just be so deep that they can't reach you on the top of the surface, right? Mm-hmm. And so they end up stopping, but you guys are briskly carried down the Fulcrum Stream. Please tell me, at this point, what is going through Emery's mind? Is she
She's panicking. She doesn't understand what's happening. She doesn't understand. She thought she could trust this thing, this guy, and now her brother's dead. She doesn't know what the golems are doing. She's just in a state of like total disarray and chaos. And she's freaking out, and all she can think about is Oliver.
Okay.
Her brother.
You guys' small little vessel carries on down the river, and it's quiet at first, but there's a reason why these waters aren't commonly traveled past north of Holdenford. You have found a small area of a rather turbulent portion of the Fulcrum Stream that your tiny little dinghy-esque piece of bark is about to come into contact with. But at the same time, you're numb with emotions.
Yep.
And
Give him back. Give him back. I'm just like muttering that over and over.
Archek comes over and kneels in front of you. And he kind of lets his head loll downwards. And he goes, if you carry him with you, he will always be there around the corner. I can help strengthen that bond and ensure he does not pass into the next turn. But we will need to do it together.
Give him back to me.
I don't have this power, but I know one that does. We will have to go to my homeland, and there we can make your brother anew.
You took him. You'll give him back.
I did not take your brother. Your brother was taken as surely as the rest of yours. Your tribe taken. Where they go, I know, is a prison. A prison no one can leave. No soul can be freed. Material, immaterial, regardless.
What does that mean?
Your brother will be himself in the spirit. Still, he will know freedom. The rest will not. I freed him. I did not save him. We can make sure he's available for you. You too can remain at each other's sides. But for now, you must meet him in his place. And with that, he puts his hands on your shoulders. With, I assume you both kneeling on the raft. And as he does, you feel the energy kind of leave, like pull out of you, the remaining strength that you have, and you fall into unconsciousness.
It's gonna take me out too.
Right? And as you sleep, Emery?
Ollie? Is that you?
I don't... Where are we?
I don't know.
I heard you cry out for me. They took him. They took me.
We didn't
I don't...
let them take you, Ollie. But I'm not sure that's for the best anymore. I'm so sorry.
The last thing I remember feeling was hunger. Oh, it was so frightening, sister.
Ephemeral?
She was pale as the night. She moved faster than a hawk in a swoop. She threw Oridrin like he was a rag doll. She was terrifying to behold. Even the stone men, the onyx, they even seemed to shy away from her. I remember there was something. She bled on me. I'm so glad to see you, sister. I was worried. I was so relieved when I knew you'd be still in Bronton. I thought it was a nightmare when I heard you cry out.
I'm sorry I wasn't here. Maybe I could have gotten you out a different way. I don't know.
Got me out? Where are we?
I don't know.
I can see you, sister. You were...
Can I try to touch him?
drowning.
Or touch his face? See
Yeah.
that? Am I able to?
You are. You are able to touch his face. He goes,
You
no.
are here.
He wipes your tear. Sorry, he wipes your cheek and your cheek is wet. He goes, sister, you were drowning.
Drowning?
Sister. You have to wake up.
But then you'll be gone.
This isn't real.
But I don't... You'll be gone if I wake. Can't leave you.
Yeah, looks down. Yes. You'll never leave me, sister. I'll never leave you. But you're drowning. You must wake up. You must wake up. Ah! And like with that sound, you hear the water around your ears. And you're and you come up for air as gurgling and sputting as Archek is slowly pulling you to shore. And
What an asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
right? You're not sure how long it's been, but it was early morning when you guys had started down the river. And it is twilight today. And you're coughing and hacking and sputtering on the rocks at this point. And Archek kind of looks down and says, I wasn't sure if you would want to come back.
I'm here, aren't I?
But some things cannot be spoken. They must be seen, felt.
Will I be able to see him again?
Yes. But only this way. For now. Your options were none if we left him with the others.
What do you know of ephemeral, then?
Ephemeral? For clarification, it was ephemeria. But
Ephemeria. Sorry.
no problem.
Thank you.
He goes, I don't know ephemeria, but I do know of rot, the onyx with the crimson rod. They seek the answers to the questions of the restless. They seek the answers of the sapling in the trees. To know where life begins and how to make it anew.
Why would they want our people then? My people then? I don't understand.
That is the question. It is one. I fear that they seek an answer for their own people at all costs. We can find more on that in Lemoore.
Lemoore? That's where we're headed?
No. But yes, do not lose sight. There are bigger things in this world to cause fear. Even the kindest of souls turned to fear. The most hearty of families turned to fear and turned to defensive postures. Can be themselves monsters, especially to those they do not understand. Pursue Oli. Pursue him. That is good. We go to Carnation, beyond the moor. My friend in the Bracken Bastion, they can forge a home for Ali. An anchor. What we've learned, he looks over at this broken piece of board that's left of the piece of bark from what before. He goes, he kind of pulls a piece of it next to him, and goes, what we've learned, and he gestures on it, and it starts to like split and turn into like two pieces, two flaps. He goes, is an animation, a falsehood of life. It is a projection of your will and a script. I think they have a thing called puppets in the cities. That is what we have here. And some days we are able to bring the potentia back and give old dogs a young day. But to stave off Black Phillip's will for longer, that requires the work of the artists. Script magic to help contain the spirit, to anchor it to dark. We can continue to convince, to persuade, to coerce Ali to stay. But we must build him a home.
I don't want to coerce him to stay. He'll want to stay.
I'm sorry. I do not speak the words well.
He doesn't want to go.
That is fine. But you need, as an anchor yourself here, to exert some will yourself. That is what I need. You must exert your will. Call to your brother. Then he of your brood can hold on a little bit longer.
So I call him down. I put him in something. I find him a home, a little temporary home.
No, not yet. We may try. But yes, the homes will be temporary. Ji can build a better one.
She?
My friend in the Bracken Bastion.
Okay.
That is where we go. I will try to teach you everything I can from here to there. We will work all night to preserve your brother, as all day we will travel across the land.
Okay.
I'm sorry. This world is pain, recycled and made again, but it is also love. And at that, he kind of turns and looks, and up ahead, what you guys see is the silhouette of another city. You've made it all the way to the outskirts of Holdenford, which is strange because that means you must have been on the river for a while. It's not just evening of the day it was that you fell asleep.
I see.
You are really hungry.
I bet. I start nomming into my snacks.
Yeah. We'll gather our strength, but I fear it is not safe to be here at night. It is a Twillet day, the start of one, to be precise. We should make of this quickly.
Must have been out a while.
So yeah, you are on the outskirts of Holdenford, city known for being the seat of some of a lot of undead, classically dark, necromantic-esque shenanigans. And it is a Twillet day, a day steeped in twilight at the start of a day. And you are outside, ready for the next go-to.
Okay.
And that's where we'll call this session. Thanks to everyone who is joining us over the stream, and to anyone who is watching this afterward. Welcome to Taking Root, and we'll see you next Wednesday for our next live stream at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, where we see where Emery's story takes us, and how she and Archek plan to make their way across the old world and down to his home area known as Carnation, a land steeped in the woods.